So now we begin with the part 2, that is carbohydrates, nomenclature of monosaccharides. According to the IUPAC system of nomenclature, general name of monosaccharide is glycose. Monosaccharide with one aldehyde carbonyl group is called aldose, and monosaccharide with one ketonic carbonyl group is called ketose. Monosaccharide will be further classified on the basis of the number of carbon atoms. So here you see the classes of aldose, aldotriose, aldotetrose, aldopentose, aldohexose. So these are all containing aldehyde group. So first one is C3H6O3 aldotriose. Example is glyceraldehyde. Then C4H8O4 aldotetrose. Example is erythrose and threose. C5H10O5 example class is aldopentose, and it is ribose arabinose is the example. Then C6H12O6 is aldohexose, and the examples are glucose and mannose. Now these are ketoses. Here one of the group is ketonic group. So the molecular formula C3H6O3, it is ketotriose because 3 carbons are there. So example is dihydroxyacetone. Then C4H8O4 ketotetrose, example is erythrulose. C5H10O5 ketopentose, example is ribulose. And C6H12O6 ketohexose, example is fructose. Now rules for writing the formula of carbohydrate. Carbohydrate can be represented by molecular formula, condensed formula, structural formula, Fischer projection formula, and Haworth projection formula. Fischer projection formula is the most common representation for carbohydrates. Rule number 1 for writing Fischer projection formula. A compound in which tetrahedral carbon atom is represented by 2 cross lines are called Fischer projection formula. 2 cross lines means one has to be a horizontal line and another will be vertical line. So when horizontal line represents the bond which is coming outside the plane of paper, having one side OH and another side H. Vertical line represents the bond coming inside of the plane of the paper, having most oxidized carbon at the top, that can be either aldehydic or ketonic group, and the least oxidized carbon atom at the bottom, that can be CH2OH group. So here an example is given. This is aldose structure. In this you see the most oxidized carbon aldehyde group is on the top, least oxidized carbon alcoholic group is on the bottom of the vertical line, and horizontal lines are having H and OH on the either sides. So this is aldose structure. Similarly, in the ketone structure, the ketonic group is here and the alcoholic group is here. And this is on the vertical line. Horizontal line, you are having H and OH on the either sides. So this is ketone structure as it is having the ketone functional group. Rule number 2. DNL configuration system. The system that is used to designate the configuration of chiral carbons of naturally occurring compound is called DNL convention or system. DNL system can be represented by horizontal line. And the last horizontal line. So basically we have to see the position of OH on the last horizontal line. D configuration. D means right side. So if OH group is placed on the right hand side of last horizontal line, then it is called D sugar. But then we have to see that last horizontal line should be of the chiral carbon. The carbon attached in that line should be chiral. So that sugar is called D sugar. Now here you see in the examples, the OH is on the right hand side in the last horizontal line, and this is a chiral carbon. So this is called these are called D sugars. L configuration. L means left side. So if OH group is placed on the left side of the last horizontal line, then it is called L sugar. See the examples here. Here you can see the OH is attached on the last horizontal line is on the left side. So it is called L configuration. Now the rule number 3. Rule number 3 is optical isomerism. Now see here. What is optical isomerism? Optical isomers are the two compounds which contain the same number of atoms, kinds of atoms and similar bonds. But they have different spatial arrangement of the atoms but which have non-superimposable mirror images. And the phenomena is called optical isomerism. So each non-superimposable mirror image structure is an enantiomer. Now see here in the example. Here you see the chiral carbon, the carbon to which 4 different groups are attached. And when you see the mirror image of it, the topmost atom that is attached to the chiral carbon has the same position in both object and image. The last atom also has the same position, but the atom which is on the left hand side is in the right hand side in the mirror image. And the atom which was on the right hand side is on the left hand side of the mirror image. So the position of the atoms that are on the left and right hand side have changed. So these two are called enantiomers. So enantiomer is one of the two stereoisomers that are mirror images of each other that are non-superimposable, much as one's right and left hands are mirror images of each other that cannot appear identical simply by reorientation. And the one of the enantiomer is dextrorotatory, another one is levorotatory. The one which is dextrorotatory is represented by small d or plus, and the one which is levorotatory is represented by small l or minus. Then enantiomers can be alternatively defined as the optical isomers that are non-superimposable mirror images of each other due to the presence of chiral carbon. So, optical isomers can be determined using the formula optical isomers is equal to 2 to the power of n, where n is the number of chiral carbon, where n is the number of chiral carbon atom. So if the number of chiral carbon atom is 1, then it will show 2 optical isomers. For example, you see an example here of the lactic acid. This is L plus lactic acid, this is D minus lactic acid. So L stands for the position of OH group on the last horizontal line of the chiral carbon, and here you see OH is on the left hand side. So L configuration, while here in this structure mirror image you see OH is on the right hand side, so D configuration. So D and S designates the position of OH on the last horizontal line, and plus sign shows the rotation, optical rotation. So if it rotates towards the right hand side, it is plus. If it rotates towards the left hand side, it is minus. Plus stands for dextrorotation, minus stands for levorotation. Now here there is a polarimeter machine. In this you see how the monochromatic light having light of a single wavelength having vibrations in all the directions is passed through the polarizer. Polarizer is having vertical slits, so only the vibrations that are parallel to the slits pass by, and this light containing one vibration in one direction is called polarized light. When this polarized light is passed through the tube containing organic molecules, it rotates the light in the right direction or in the left direction. So if it rotates in the right direction, the substance is organic molecule is dextrorotatory. If it rotates in the left direction, the molecule is levorotatory. So that is how, with the help of polarimeter machine, we can find out the angle of rotation. So here again you see the monochromatic light is passed through the polarimeter. Only the vibrations that are parallel to the slit passes by, and this light is called plane polarized light. When this light is passed through the tube containing organic compound, this rotates the rotates the plane polarized light either in the right direction or in the left direction. If it rotates in the right direction, it is called dextrorotatory. The organic molecule compound is called dextrorotatory, and if it rotates in the left side, it is called levorotatory substance. So that means dextrorotation and levorotation of compound can be determined using polarimeter machine. While D and L configuration can be found out by representing the OH group placed on the last horizontal line. But only that carbon should be chiral carbon. So some examples of carbohydrate are given here. Now here you see this is a structural formula given to you and you are asked to find out the name of the class. So there are 3 carbon atoms. There is an aldehyde group on the first carbon. So it is aldotriose and the famous name is glyceraldehyde. Now this one is having OH in the last horizontal line on the right hand side. So it is configuration is D and it is dextrorotatory. So it rotates the plane polarized light in the right hand side. The next one, see here, there are how many? There are 4 carbon atoms. So this is aldotetrose and there is an aldehyde group present here. So aldotetrose. And what is the configuration? Configuration will be D because the last horizontal line is holding OH on the right hand side. So it is D configuration. But then here it is minus, that means it is levorotatory. So D minus erythrose. Then the next example is here again aldotetrose is given. Aldotetrose is saying 4 carbon atoms are there in the vertical line. First is the aldehyde group, so it is aldo, and 4 carbon atoms, that is tetrose. And what is the configuration of this? We have to see the OH on the last horizontal line is on the right hand side, so it is D configuration. And minus indicates it is levorotatory. So 3D minus triose is levorotatory. Then this one, in this you see 5 carbon atoms and aldehyde group, so it is aldopentose. And here the last carbon, last horizontal line is holding OH on the right hand side, so it is D configuration. So D minus ribose. So this minus is showing the levorotation. So these are some of the examples of the configurations. Then you see here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon atoms, so it is hexose. Aldehyde group on the top, that means it is aldohexose. And the last carbon atom, last horizontal line is holding OH on the right hand side. Therefore, it is D configuration plus glucose. So, plus shows it is dextrorotatory. Next example you see here, there are 6 carbon atoms again. So it is hexose and there is a ketonic group present. So it is ketohexose. So this is fructose basically. And the last carbon, last horizontal line is holding OH on the right hand side. So this is also D configuration, but it is levorotatory because here it is minus. So D minus fructose. Okay. So these are some of the important questions. Okay. Now, in the carbohydrates, we will study about glucose and fructose. Glucose occurs in nature in free as well as combined state. It is present in sweet fruits, honey, an essential component of the human blood. It is most abundant monosaccharide present in the nature and it produces instant energy and available in the form of dextrose. Glucose is optically active and pentahydroxyaldehyde containing 4 chiral carbon atoms. That is, basically it has got 5 hydroxy groups. Then the molecular formula is C6H12O6. Structural formula is CHO, CHOH whole 4 and CH2OH. That means basically it is having 1 aldehyde group, 4 secondary alcoholic group and 1 primary alcoholic group. Then the Fischer projection formula, D plus glucose. So in the Fischer projection formula, you can see here that the first carbon is the aldehyde carbon and the last one is primary alcoholic carbon, and there's a chain vertical line having 6 carbon atoms, out of which 4 chiral carbons are there, and on the horizontal line we have H and OH groups placed. So the second carbon is having H on the left side, OH on the right side. Third carbon is having OH on the left side, H on the right side, and the fourth carbon and fifth carbon are having H on the left side and OH on the right side. And here you see the 4 chiral carbon. That means how many optical isomers it will have. It has the number of optical isomers is given by the formula 2 to the power of n. That means 2 to the power of 4. As the number of chiral carbon atoms are 4, therefore it will have 16 optical isomers. Method of preparation of glucose. So the first method, laboratory method, it is from sucrose. So in this method, sucrose is hydrolyzed in the presence of dilute HCl or dilute sulfuric acid, and it is heated to 333 Kelvin for 2 to 3 hours, and 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose is obtained by 1 molecule of on hydrolysis of 1 molecule of sucrose. From 1 molecule of sucrose. So now what happens is, basically you get the mixture of glucose and fructose. So how to separate the glucose and from fructose? So glucose is separated from fructose by adding ethanol. When you add ethanol and cool it, glucose being almost insoluble in alcohol, it crystallizes out first and the solution is filtered and glucose crystals are obtained. Second method is from starch. So from starch is the commercial method, and again from starch also glucose is obtained by hydrolysis using dilute HCl or dilute sulfuric acid heated to 393 Kelvin, 2 to 3 atmospheric pressure, and N molecules of glucose are formed. So basically this glucose form has got some impurities, and these impurities, and it is having excess acid. So the excess acid is removed by adding chalk powder. Chalk powder reacts with the acid and the precipitate is formed, which is removed. And further, there are color impurities which are removed by adding charcoal powder. When you remove charcoal powder, the glucose solution gets decolorized. And on cooling, on heating and cooling, pure crystals of glucose are obtained. Now, chemical properties of glucose. Glucose is having 3 types of groups. One is the aldehyde group, another is the secondary alcoholic group, and there are primary alcoholic group. So you will study the reactions based on aldehyde group and reaction based on hydroxyl group. So reaction based on aldehyde group. First one is the reduction of glucose. So when you do the reduction using hot HI, concentrated HI, hydroiodic acid, which is a strong reducing agent, it reduces glucose to N-hexane. That means all OHO are removed and you get what? Hydrogen. It gets reduced, hydrogen gets added, and you get hexane, N-hexane. So this formation of N-hexane shows that in the structure of glucose there is carbon chain of 6 carbon atoms. Then partial reduction. Partial reduction is done in the presence of sodium amalgam and water, NaHg and water. This gives again the nascent hydrogen. This is a mild reducing agent, and this glucose, when reacted with sodium amalgam water, it gives you sorbitol. That means the aldehyde group gets reduced to the primary alcoholic group. So the reduction takes place and you get sorbitol. Then oxidation of glucose. Oxidation of glucose, partial oxidation is done using bromine water. So when bromine water is added, bromine water is a mild oxidizing agent. So when bromine water is added to glucose, gluconic acid is formed. That means this aldehyde group gets oxidized to COOH. The remaining things are same. Nothing happens in the remaining part. Only that aldehyde group gets oxidized to the carboxylic acid group. That is why gluconic acid is formed. Then complete oxidation using dilute HNO3. Dilute HNO3 is a strong oxidizing agent, and glucose when reacted with strong oxidizing agent gives the shikaric acid. In shikaric acid, the aldehyde group gets oxidized to COH group, and even this primary alcoholic group gets oxidized to the carboxylic acid group. So this is containing two COH groups, the dicarbox. It is having two COH groups, so it is shikaric acid. Complete oxidation using dilute HNO3. So when you use dilute HNO3, again, as we saw in the previous case, that the glucose got converted to the shikaric acid. So even if gluconic acid is there in the solution, that also gets converted to shikaric acid, because gluconic acid is containing the COH group is there, but then primary alcoholic group remains, which also gets oxidized using dilute HNO3 being a strong oxidizing agent. A reaction with HCN. When glucose reacts with HCN, there is an aldehyde group present here. HCN molecule gets added and you get COHCN. This is cyanohydrin. So you get glucose, cyanohydrin is formed. So this confirms the presence of aldehyde group in the structure of glucose. Then when it is reacted with hydroxylamine, glucose is reacted with hydroxylamine. What do you get here? Oxime is formed. So here when this is added, H2O is given out and CH double bond NOH remains. So this is called glucooxime. This also confirms the presence of aldehyde group in glucose. Then reaction based on alcoholic group. That is a reaction with acetic anhydride. In the acetic anhydride, you see the OH group gets replaced by the acetyl group. So you get glucose pentaacetate. So glucose when reacted with acetic anhydride gives you glucose pentaacetate. So this confirms the presence of 5 OH group in the glucose. These are some of the important questions. All easy questions, solve them.